everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, a commander deck that is already getting a lot of attention, and it's a very solid commander, and it's not even out yet. This is a commander that is going to be so powerful, so crazy that it is going to warp some things. Let's jump into it. Celes, Rune Knight, a 4/4 human wizard knight for 4 mana in Mardu. Again, this commander is not out yet, but is already getting so much attention. I just had to build a deck around it. It is something that has been on the back of my mind as to one of the commanders coming out this year that is definitely going to be up for one of the most powerful commanders this year. It's going to be one of the most powerful commanders of the entire year. It's already up for that award right now. And again, it's not even out yet. When it enters the battlefield, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards plus 1. Already, that is a very solid effect. Again, on ETB, no cast trigger requirement. Very easy to use and abuse. And again, you're going 1 up on every single time you do that. I mean, usually that's used like on, say, a sorcery where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, hey, I understand that you lose out on the cards that you discarded, plus on the actual spell itself, so the +1 is to kind of replace the spell. This one's obviously coming from the command zone, so yeah, you're not losing out on anything, you're just going up 1 on that. And also, again, ETB to use and abuse, yes please, like wheel +1 every single time, that's amazing. That being said, that's not why this commander is insanely powerful, and why this commander is going to be, a kill-on-sight commander at tables, because, yeah, if you don't, you lose. You literally just lose because of that next part. Whenever one or more other creatures you control enter, if one or more of them entered from a graveyard or is cast from a graveyard, put a counter on each creature you control. The way that this is worded is kind of specific, but not really. Again, it says whenever one or more enters, so it's like, okay, if I mass had everything come into play, like a mass reanimation, then sure, I only get like 1 counter on everything. But that doesn't matter. What really matters is literally, hey, if a creature comes into play from your graveyard, it gets a counter. Yeah, and it gives a counter to everything else too, which is great, but it specifically getting the counter is the most important thing because, well, this is a very easy use and abusable thing for, well, Persist. This is just super simple, super easy. Ever since they changed that rule sometime between the time when I was a kid and I was playing and then came back into Magic, and they changed the rule where -1 and +1 counters cancel each other out instead of just kind of both being on the same creature. So yeah, you can really easily use and abuse Persist on top of, again, this just being an absurdly efficient commander when it comes to easily using and abusing card draw as well and wheel effects. Yeah, this commander is a powerhouse. I mean, I hate to kind of already say, like, this is going to be an S-tier commander in the set, but it's going to be pretty hard to argue against that already, just with what this does. It's going to be an S-tier commander of this year, potentially, even as well. One of the top commanders so far. Let's jump into the deck built around this one and how we can make this thing into the powerhouse that it deserves to be. So first up, tactic number 1, we're not even going to hide it. We're just going to start things off with Persist creatures. Again, like I mentioned, Persist is incredibly powerful, this commander. A 2/2 zombie goblin for 2 mana. We've got Putrid Goblin. It just very simply has Persist, which again means, if you don't know what it is, when this creature dies, if it had no -1/-1 counters on it, returns it back to the battlefield under its own control with a -1/-1 counter on it. Basically, I mean, initially intended was just like, oh yeah, you get the creature back once and it's slightly smaller. Essentially, again, though, because they changed the rule where +1 counters and -1 counters cancel each other out, now again, any commander that basically is like, hey, you know what, you came back into play, you get a counter, oh, okay, yeah, now all of a sudden, if you've got a free sacrifice outlet, which believe me, we've got plenty of those, you can infinitely sacrifice this, bring it back into play, and with this commander specifically, again, you are getting an infinite number, rules lawyers out there, I know, 1 trillion, whatever, pick a number, an infinite number of counters on every single one of your other creatures outside of the actual creature that you're just persisting again and again and again. So yeah, that's one way to win. Infinite power creatures, though obviously there's plenty of other ways to win. That being said, we're very quickly going to go through the other 11 Persist creatures that we have in this deck, because yeah, we just need one of them to win, but we've got plenty of them, just in case we need to dig down into them and get them. Lesser Masticore, a 2/2. We discard a card when it is cast, essentially, and then you can pay 4 and deal 1 damage to creature. Cool, but what matters, again, is literally Persist. I don't care what else this does. It just has Persist. That's all I care about. Obstinate Gargoyle, a 2/2. Flying if it's modified. Cool. Don't care. Persist. That's what we care about. A 3-mana Persist creature. That is all I care about. Also, Restless Apparition. Cool, a 2/2. We can pump it by paying mana into it. We're not going to do that. We're just going to sacrifice it. It's got Persist. Okay, there might be like an edge case where we're like, I attack. Try to block. I've got mana open. Sure, but most likely just Persist again and again and again. Wing Rattle Scarecrow, a 2/2 Scarecrow that we don't care about the flying part. We don't have blue creatures. What we do have, though, are black creatures, including our commander, meaning that this will have Persist. Yet another 3-mana creature with Persist. At 4, sure, we'll pay 4 mana for an infinite combo win. A 2/2 Spirit with Fear for 4 mana. Persist, Lingering Tormentor. Again, we just don't care about the fear. We just care about Persist. That's all we care about. Murderous Redcap. A combo on its own with this commander. If you've got the commander, if you've got the free sacrifice out, you need literally nothing else and you just win the game. 2/2 Goblin Assassin for 4 mana in Rakdos. So when it comes into play, it deals damage equal to its power to our creature or player. And of course, it's got Persist. So yeah, basically ETB just keeps pinging again and again and again. It doesn't matter that it's small amounts each time. It's going to take every opponent out. And sure, they're creatures too if you really want to. Moving on. Kithkin Spellduster. 2/3 with flying that we can sacrifice through our enchantment. Cool, it's removal as well. Most importantly, though, again, Persist. Puppeteer Click. This one's quite funny. 3/2 Flying Fairy Wizard for 5 mana in black. Enters the battlefield. Put target creature card from an opponent's graveyard on the battlefield under control. It gains haste. Behavior end set. Exile it. Basically, when you are infinitely persisting with this, you're like, okay, I just steal all of my opponent's creatures out of their graveyards, and they have haste, so that's another way for you to win, too. There you go. Thunderblast, 7/2 with haste, elemental for 5 mana. Yeah, it's got trample on it if it's, got the -1/-1 counter, which we don't care about. What we care about, again, is literally Persist. We would pay any amount for a creature with Persist, basically, so let's go up to 6. Why not? A 5/3 Scarecrow is 6. Has Persist, long control a black creature. Haste is control a red creature. Cool, the haste is nice, but we care mostly, again, about that Persist. That's literally what we care about. We just play one of these with a free sacrifice outlet on our commander in play, and we win the game. Finally, though, Twilight Shepherd. 5/5, Flying Vigilant Angel for 6 mana. Enters battlefield, return your hand. All cards in your graveyard that are put there from the battlefield this turn. Persist. So, sure, this actually can have some utility to it, but again, what we care about most is literally just get this into play, sacrifice it as many times as we want to, and we win the game. Moving on to our next tactic, though, Outlet Maul. Yeah, free sacrifice outlets are insane with this kind of a commander, and you need them to be free because you're going to be sacrificing that Persist creature as many times as you want. A 1/1 Vampire Wizard that costs a single black mana. Viserys here is incredible. Sacrifice a creature, scry 1. Literally so simple and so effective. Again, with any of those Persist creatures, with any of them plus our commander, this equals, okay, infinitely sacrifice and dig through my entire deck to get whatever card I want on top, basically, again. Elder Arthur Maxen, a 4/2 Human Knight for 3 mana. Creature tokens you control training. Cool. Don't care. What we care about is sacrifice another creature. It gains indestructible until end of turn. So this is one that is really hard for opponents to deal with. We like our free sacrifice outlets to either give us a lot of value or for them to actually just be very sticky and hard to actually get rid of. So they just stay in play and our opponents can't stop us. Fanatical Devotion. Yeah, enchantments are great. Probably the sturdiest, I would say, out of all the types out there. That being said, also makes other things sturdy. Sacrifice a creature, regenerate target creature. So yeah, we can actually protect our team, we can protect our commander, we can protect our key pieces, and win the game from there. Woe Strider, kind of like a slightly more expensive Viserys here, a 3/2 that costs 3 mana. Enters, you make a goat. Cool. Sacrifice creature, scry 1. You can also bring it back out of your graveyard too by escaping it as well. But yeah, most importantly, free sacrifice outlet with that scry. Next up, yeah, Henny. A 2/2 Aetherborn Vampire for 3 mana haste. Creature opponent controls dies, you get a counter on this, so this can become quite beefy throughout the game. Most importantly, though, again, sacrifice another creature, indestructible until end of turn. Again, protects itself in a great way. Dimir Houseguard, very flexible in this deck. 2/3 Skeleton with Fear for 4 mana. Sacrifice creature regenerated, so again, free sacrifice outlet that protects itself. That is huge, but also we can transmute it by discarding it and paying that 3 mana. Go tutor up any card in your deck that costs 4. Which, of course, can be either like a win condition or, again, with those Persist creatures or whatever we need. If we already have something that is a free sacrifice outlet in play, cool, we don't need this. Let's go get something else. Vulcan-Wrath Aristocrat, yet another hard to deal with, sacrifice outlet. A 4/1 Vampire Noble, flying in haste for 4 mana in Rakdos. Sacrifice a creature, gains indestructible until end of turn. If the sacrifice creature is human, you get a counter on it. Cool. Don't care. What we care about, literally, again, is this is a free sacrifice outlet that protects itself. It's hard to deal with. Speaking of which, Immershroom Predator, a 3/3 Vampire Dragon for 4 mana in Rakdos, flying. Whenever it becomes tapped, exile up to 1 target card from a graveyard and put a counter on this creature. Sacrifice another creature, it's indestructible, and you tap it again. Sure, it can be a threat, which is quite nice. It can actually be a way to, get rid of our opponent's graveyards too. Most importantly, free outlet. Then we've got, well, Shin of the Gengar, Sire of Famine, a 6/6 Elder Demon with flying that's got a lot of text on it, but basically, sacrifice creatures, make blood tokens. Don't worry about the angels, we don't really care about that too much, although I guess there is one Persist angel that we do have. That being said, for the most part, it doesn't matter. Free sacrifice outlet plus persist creature equals infinite blood tokens for us. Okay, rules lawyers out there, 1 trillion, whatever number. You can also, though, pay 3 in Orzhov, essentially sacrifice 6 blood tokens and bring back all creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield with finality counters on them, and they're vampires. Basically, what you're going to be doing with this is saying, hey, you know what? Cool, I've got all those blood tokens I need, which is amazing and great. And also, if there's any kind of a win condition out of my graveyard, I can very easily just get that back out there and win from there. And with that finality counter, obviously you're not doing that with the persist creatures, but yeah, we'll talk about some of the win condition cards we'll get to here in a little bit. That being said, Thermopod, an incredible sacrifice outlet for us, a 4/3 slug. You can give it haste if you really want to, but sure, don't really care about that. What we care about is that this says sacrifice a creature, add red to your mana pool. So yeah, again, with persist creatures with a free sacrifice out like this, plus our commander equals infinite red mana. Have fun with that. Plenty of ways to win from there. Next up, though, on top of our commander's incredible ETB, we are going to dig down into our deck with a lot of amazing draw engines. First up, Weatherlight completed, a 5/5 equal with flying for 2 mana. If it has, 4 more Phyresis counters on it, it's a Phyrexian creature. Cool, that's nice. What we care about, though, is whenever a creature control dies, you get a Phyresis counter on it, and then you draw a card if it's got 7 or more counters on it. If it doesn't, you scry 1. Basically, this is a way to, scry 1 a lot early on, which is great. But of course, later on, just draw your entire library, essentially, if you want to when you're sacrificing those things. Yeah, you might need to have some removal ready to actually get rid of some of your own things. Or just actually with this, again, it's going to become a, creature at one point. You can sacrifice it when you need to, so you don't actually, lose the game by drawing out your library. Midnight Reaper, another card that, can actually take you out, but you've got plenty of ways to negate this. It's fine. A 3/2 Zombie Knight, whenever a non-token creature control dies, deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. 1 damage, that's not nothing, but it is very tiny. I mean, you got 40 life, you're down to use it, all right? Utilize it. That being said, we do have ways to gain a lot of life. We'll talk about plenty of those here in a little bit. Next up, slightly more limited, Morbid Opportunist, a 1/3 human rogue. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. Triggers only once each turn. Keep in mind, this does counter our opponent's creatures as well, which is quite nice. It might only trigger once each turn, but it triggers on every single turn. With each trip on the table, this can be draw 4. Gotta your opponent's turns as well and yours. Next up, speaking of draw 3, I got ahead of myself. Painful Truths, sorcery for 3 mana. Basically, use your 3 colors, draw 3 cards, lose 3 life. Well worth it. Then there's Rumor Gatherer. Another creature enters battlefield under your control, you scry 1. Second time ability to resolve this turn, you draw a card instead. So basically, again, a ton of scry. Of course, in combination with our Persist Infinite combo, basically look through your entire library and get the right card on top of it, on top of the 1 card that you are drawing too. Erebos Blackhearted. Well, this can be a creature if we've got some devotion. Cool. More importantly, though, whenever a creature control dies, you can pay 2 life if you do draw a card. That might be, somewhat of a steep cost-ish, like 2 life for 1 card. That's still well worth it. Absolutely. And, yeah, again, we've got plenty of ways to gain that life back. Next up, though, Garda can help us out in multiple ways. A 4/3 Human Berserker. Another creature controlled dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, it deals 1 damage each opponent. So this one can be a good way to mass sacrifice things in combat if you need to. Draw a bunch of cards there, or just utilize this as a win condition again, pinging your opponents down. Then we've got High Society Hunter, a 5/3 flyer that says, whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature you do, get a counter on this. Cool. More importantly, though, whenever another creature dies, you draw a card. So no downside to this one at all. Just draw all the cards that you could ever want. Finally, Harvester of Souls, 5/5 Death Touching Demon for 6 mana. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. Again, with our loops, with our persist creatures, they are, of course, non-token. And, of course, keep in mind, this does counter opponent's creatures as well. So, yeah, a good amount of card advantage even before we're actually going off. Next up, though, we've talked a lot about our game plan, but how do we throw some wrenches into our opponent's game plans? Let's break some stuff. First up, there's D-Spark. Instant for 2 mana. Get rid of a permanent mana value 4 or greater. It's a fantastic card. Judith the Scourge. Diva, a 2/2 human shaman for 3 mana and Rakdos. Pumps our creature slightly. That's nice. Most importantly, though, whenever a non-token creature control dies, it pings any target for 1. So yeah, ping down your opponents, their creatures. can be a win condition or a way to get rid of certain things. Speaking of which, Mayhem Devil, a 3/3 devil for 3 mana in Rakdos. Whenever any player sacrifices a permanent 1 damage to any target. Keep in mind, this counts a lot of things, including, well, when our opponents are sacrificing treasures too. Yeah, fun punishing effect. Next up, Stroke of Midnight. Get rid of any non-land permanent, replace with a simple 1/1. Well worth that for 3 mana. Teysa Orzhov Scion. This one can be huge for us. A 2/3 Human Advisor for 3 mana. Sacrifice 3 white creatures, exile a creature. When another black creature control dies, you make a 1/1. So yeah, this can be a infinite token generator for us. Again, when we are going infinite, it can also be a free sacrifice outlet for us with the right combination of cards. It can also be removal for us, which can be absolutely huge. Speaking of which, Phyrexian Plague Lord, a 4/4 carrier for 5 mana. Sacrifice a creature, give any creature -1/-1 till end of turn, or you can tap and sacrifice this for a -4/-4 to any creature. Yeah, this can be a great card at essentially being a free sacrifice outlet for us that also acts as removal too. Speaking of which, oh my goodness, this is gross. Sadistic Hypnotist. This card can be game ending on its own. A 5/5 human minion for 5 mana in black. Sacrifice a creature, target player discards 2 cards. Only at sorcery speed. Sure, that's fine. Again, if you do have that Persist combination, that means your opponents have absolutely no hands. Good luck top decking to try to stop me at that point. Even if you don't have the Persist combination with your commander, all of a sudden, sacrifice a couple creatures, get rid of your opponent's hands, and just, yeah, you're going to get to that point where you can win before they do. Moving on, though, Butcher of Malakir. Gross, disgusting, amazing. 5/4 Vampire Warrior flying for 7 mana. Another creature control dies. Every opponent sacrifices a creature. They will not be able to keep anything on the board when you get going with this, even again without your combos. All you need to do is just have a couple creatures out there to sacrifice, which you got plenty of them, and you do so, and your opponents, well, don't have any creatures on the board. Then we've got Vishkal Blood Arbiter, a 5/5 flying and lifelink that says sacrifice a creature, get X counters on this Rex to sacrifice creature's power. Move all counters from it. Target creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn for each counter move this way. First of all, this can be a infinite removal of all your opponent's creatures again when you are going infinite. It can also give this infinite power. It can also then, when you hit someone, well, again, it's evasive, gain infinite life. Again, I keep saying infinite, but a trillion sure rules is out there, okay. Being a finisher or being a removal, this thing can be absolutely huge for you. Finally, though, Decree of Pain. Yeah, if you need to reset things, this is a good card to do it. Source for 8 mana. Get rid of all creatures that can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each creature destroyed this way, so a massive card draw for you as well. Or cycle it away to give all creatures -2/-2, which is also a good option. Moving on, brought back. Yeah, let's bring things back because, again, our commander has an amazing ETB. Again, I already talked about a lot of great ways to dig down into your deck on top of our commander. That being said, yeah, just very simply, very effectively, with all of our sacrifice outlets being like, yeah, I'd like to get rid of my commander temporarily and have it come back. Feign Death is an amazing card. It instant for a single black mana. Basically, hey, if you're going to die, you come right back into play and you get a counter. There are a lot of different variations of this, which we'll go through here in a little bit, but again, it's basically kind of like a black blink spell in a way, essentially for this kind of a strategy where, hey, okay, you're going to leave, you're going to die, you're going to come back now. I get that ETB again. Because our commander does not have a cast trigger requirement for that ETB, we can very easily use and abuse it to dig down into our deck, and also just a good way to protect our commander as well. So, not dead after all. Again, very similar to this one. Instant for a black mana. Basically, again, brings the creature back, but also puts a Wicked Roll token attached to it, which is, +1/+1 and drains opponents for 1. Cool. Good for that. Supernatural Stamina, +2/+0 to that creature, and also, again, that Feign Death type effect. Die and come right back. Undying Evil. Give a creature Undying. Again, this deck is all about Persist, but also Undying too, which can be a great way to protect something and bring it back too. Undying Malice, an instant for a single black mana. Again, basically the exact same thing as Feign Death though. And then finally, Fake Your Own Death. This one does cost 2 mana. That's okay though, because basically, again, it does pump that creature. It has that Feign Death type thing, brings the creature back, but also makes us a treasure token, which again can be a nice little, well, temporary ramp for us too. Now, we've already talked about some ways to actually take our opponents out, kind of with the removal, like a Judith type thing. We can actually win with something like that, obviously, or just, again, inherently by infinitely sacrificing our Persist creatures, getting, an infinite number of counters on our creatures, and then winning from there, or infinite power of Vishkal. But yeah, if we want a more simple, direct approach to win the game, we've got them. Corpse Knight is a great one. Another creature enters the battlefield under your control. Each opponent loses 1 life. A slight little magic trivia question with this one, though, actually. It does say 2/3. I think they had a misprint on the first one, actually. It's actually a 2/2, I believe. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. But I believe it's actually a 2/2. It's been errated, so that does not matter at all, really. But keep that in mind. This is a great combo card, though, for you to win. Cruel Celebrant, a 1/2 vampire for 2 mana. Whenever another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Again, when you're infinitely sacrificing, it doesn't matter. Your opponents just lose. LSO Core, Sadistic Pilgrim, a great card. 2/2 Death Toucher. Another creature enters battle for your control. You gain 1 life. Cool. Infinite mana. Lovely. Or infinite life, I should say. Lovely. More importantly, though, whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. See, you get both ends of that. Vengeful Blood Witch. Kind of like a slightly worse Blood Artist, but that's okay. A 1/1 Vampire Warlock. Whenever this creature or another creature you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Again, it doesn't matter if it's slightly worse than a Blood Artist when you are, again, infinitely just getting the same creature back again and again and again. You drain your opponents out and they lose. Zulport Cutthroat, of course, a very solid card. 1/1 Human Rogue Ally. Another creature control dies, drains each opponent for 1, and you gain 1. Finally, Bash of Remembrance, again, enchantment, so a bit sturdier, harder to deal with, which is nice. When it enters, you also get a 1/1. Cool, little creature fodder right there. Most importantly, though, whenever a creature control dies, each opponent is drained 1, and you gain 1. Basically, Zulport Cutthroat, but on an enchantment. Next up, tactic number 7, ramp it up. And ramp it up we shall. First up, there's Wayfarer's Bauble, pay 2 taps, sacrifice, get a basic land in a play tap. Then there's, of course, Arcane Signet, cost 2 taps for any of our colors. Very efficient, very effective. Then we got Boros Signet. This one is going to be, a good way to filter our mana into Boros colors for just 2 mana. Belwar Stone typically can tap for all of our colors depending on what our opponent's land situation is. Taps for 1 mana based on our opponent's lands. Then there's Mind Stone. This one can tap for a colors, or we can actually pay 1 to tap and sacrifice to draw a card. Then, of course, we got some other signets with Orzhov, which taps for Orzhov colors when we filter the mana into it. Rakdos, which does the exact same thing but for Rakdos. Talisman of Conviction, which is an artifact for 2. Taps for a colors, or taps for one of our 2 colors. 1 damage us, though. And again, 1 damage, not a big deal at all. Crowded Crypt. Did you think you could win with a mana rock? Well, you can. Artifact for 3. Taps for a black. Whenever your creature control dies, you get a corpse counter on it. By paying 6 and tapping and sacrificing it, you get a 2/2 black zombie creature stone with Decayed for each corpse counter on it. Again, this could be a, just, you throw it in there. It's in play, okay? It's just a artifact. It's just a ramp spell for you, essentially. And then essentially when you are going off of that persisting, this could be your win condition. This could just be, oh yeah, I've got a trillion counters on this. Cool. Next turn I sacrifice this right before my turn, essentially. Get all those zombies, swing, and win. Or how about Sifter of Skulls? Again, you can just win in that way too. 4/3 Eldrazi with Devoid for 4 mana. Whenever another non-token creature control dies, you get a 1/1 Eldrazi sign that can sacrifice 4 mana. So basically, infinite colorless mana as well as an infinite army of 1/1s. You're gonna win in one way or another. Again, Celes Rune Knight is a disgustingly powerful commander. Again, just the ETB is already incredibly solid, very easy to use and abuse, and you can build an entire deck just around that if you really want to, like a wheels-centric deck. Absolutely. That being said, my goodness, what makes it a kill-on-site commander is that persist enabling. Infinite persist enabling with a free sacrifice outlet. Again, we got like 12 persist creatures in this deck where it's like, you just need one of them. You just need any one of it. Doesn't matter what it is. You can dig down with a lot of other cards to get there, or with your commander. Get there, get that persist creature in play, get that free sacrifice outlet, which we've got a ton of them, and all of a sudden, you are off to the races, and you basically just win the game. If not, just win the game, because you already have, again, a persist creature that just wins you then and there, or a sacrifice outlet that wins you then and there. It is so powerful and so good. Definitely a good reason why a lot of players are talking about this one already, even though, again, it's not even out yet. And if you want to build around this one ahead of time, well, feel free to do so. And again, make sure you check out that deck list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.